before they have sex. I want you to wear lacy stuff. Where the hell do they get that from? Some movie or book or magazine. That's where they get it. So in the South Sea Islands, the natives made love on the beach sometimes. They didn't have to do it privately. And they stroked the whole person. That was 2 hands on the girl and stroked the whole person. They had no fetishes. There were no tit men, no leg men, no ass men. They stroked the whole female. Just as you stroke a dog. When you stroke a dog, you stroke the whole dog. You don't stop at the balls. You stroke the whole dog. You know what I mean? When you deal with abnormal behavior, normal to what? Who sets up what normal is, or what right is, or wrong? In the Arab world, the guy may have 15 wives, and they all get along with each other. Here in this country, we have 1 wife. We don't get along. So they think their system is good. You can't say you should only have 1 wife. If 9 wives want to live with you, if you don't force it, or 9 men want to, and you like that, that's fine. So long as you don't force anybody else into your value system. But there's no right, no wrong, no good, no bad. People are shaped by culture. If you learn that in the future, when you hold a book and you can't see the lettering, it'll become darker. And you put it closer, the lettering will get larger. Do you understand? The books will be smart. So when you have medical books in the future, they'll be updated by laser beam. So instead of you getting a new magazine every month as to what's new, there'll be a section in your medical book that tells you what's new, unless you press hold if you don't want to change. When you walk out of your room in the future, the lights go out automatically. You don't need to turn them out. All the air conditioning goes off. And the electric companies won't like that at all. Do you understand? There's not a single thing you can do that somebody won't hate you for it. A lot of people will hate me, not for the Venus Project, but what they think the Venus Project is about. They think it's about a lot of scientists in gray. You will work in Area D. You, Area K. That's where they picture. That's not the Venus Project at all. That's their own projections. If you want to know about the Venus Project, ask me about it. But there's no authority in it. And the doctors are responsible for the health of everybody. And if the health drops below a certain standard, they go back to school. They're not punished. Yes?
We have a question here.
Thank you. I have a question about the things you say about the future. For example, if a scientist has one theory that will solve some sort of problem, and another scientist has another theory for the same problem, wouldn't that create conflict between the scientists? For example, Einstein has continuously had to defend his theories.
Okay. All scientific theories are put to test, and they stop speculating about the Big Bang. That's how it all started. Some scientists believe that. But what was there the day before the Big Bang? And they say light is the only thing that has a constant speed. They say light is attracted to the black hole, so it couldn't have a constant speed if it's attracted into the black hole. They say all matter is attracted to the black hole. So you see, scientists have theories, so you have in a book, it says, this is one theory, this is another theory, this is another theory, whichever you accept. Or you say, I'm going to hold it in advance. I think it's too early to accept any of those points of view. We don't know enough about it. When people say, where did life come from? Because I guess somebody made 2 people. Some guy sitting on a throne made a man and a woman. Then he figured he needed some excitement, so he made a snake. In the early days, snakes walked upright. Did you know that? They didn't crawl on their belly. And the snake said, eat of the fruit of knowledge. And they ate of that fruit. And they changed. And he kicked them out of the lovely garden. But what did he expect them to do? So if you have children, you try to make them smarter than you. Why didn't God do that? He made so many dummies. He must have been one of the lesser gods. So you see, everything that you've learned, better yourself, make a lot of money, have a nice house. But they never teach you in school how to relate, how to communicate with others, how to share values with others. They teach you how to make a living. You become an optometrist, he becomes a physicist, he becomes a structural engineer, he's an architect. But in the future, none of that. Everybody is trained to be a generalist, so they understand different cultures, different values, how we get to be the way we are, so no one can ever use you for war or killing anybody or hurting anybody. Prisons will not exist in the future. We now know enough about human behavior to engineer an environment. Don't let that word scare you. In other words, instead of people moving into new cities in the future, if normal people moved into new cities, they'd louse up the cities. So before they move in, you go to an orientation center. Don't let that scare you. Here's what it means. Before you fly an airplane, anybody that flies here, they put you in a dummy plane first to see if you didn't understand how the controls work. Then they bring you over to a real airplane and they show you how to check the tire pressure, how to make sure there's no water in your fuel tank. And after they do that, then they put you in a real plane and show you how the controls work. You have to be put in an aeronautical environment. If you want to be a doctor, you're put in a medical environment. Think about that. And if you want to be an architect, you're put in an architectural environment, university. So in the future, you don't just move into the new cities. You're oriented first to how those cities work, how you get your resources, what you do when you don't like something. So you have to do that, otherwise you're going to have the same trouble. If you put normal people in the UN, you're going to have all the problems the UN has. The UN cannot attain dynamic equilibrium because their language is too old. They can't communicate with each other.